Hello, welcome to a new video. In this speed build, I will be showing you a Japanese street or a Japanese style street build that I did with 6 units and also some businesses. Because the new expansion is coming in 2 days roughly for rent, I thought it would be fun to make a build like this where you could have a lot of units, but also some businesses where you can entertain your Sims. And the first thing I did was browse through the debug catalog. And as you can see right there on the left, I have a lot of objects that I put down first thing. And I started building this like grocery store type of build. I wanted it to look really local with fresh produce, and I'm just decorating the outside of it. I am placing down a lot of like vegetables, and some of this stuff took me a while, so I cut some of it out. But I left also a little bit of the process and all the things I did, so you can see how I did it. And yeah, adding some more produce and some more clutter to the outside. I added these carrots as well. I thought it looked fun. And we will be adding here some pears as well. I'm using the tool mod like throughout the whole build. The tool mod allows you to manipulate objects, rotate them off the axis, scale them in a freer way than the game allows you to. And you don't actually need to have the mod to download the build. And the objects are, if you place the lot, the objects are exactly as I placed them with the mod. So that's a good thing about it. Now we are extending some of the build and making more businesses and more stuff to do around. This one I think is going to be a bar, probably. But right now I'm figuring out the colors. I did this pitched roof with an angle. I thought it looked really good, and to me it's just very Japanese. And I'm choosing the colors again. I think I will be swapping the colors in a second. But yeah, just putting some decor. There we go, changing the colors to a more darker shade. And there we go, changing it again. Yeah, starting to make some more decorations to decorate a little bit more. To me, it just reminds me so much of Japanese culture to have these like small places with just a lot of squeezed in businesses, squeezed in tight spaces. So this one is actually the only unit that is the one I'm building now, the one that doesn't have a business on the bottom part. It is a full home. And when I was building this, I thought it would be fun to imagine like someone who didn't want to give up their home to become like a business under, because it's, you know, surrounded by cafes and stuff like that. I thought it would be fun to have that storyline here as well. And so it just becomes being a full house, which is the only one that has 2 levels. Now we are extending for I think it's the flower shop here. So for the flower shop, or the plant shop, however you want to call it, I wanted it to be a really, not silly, but like fun place. I use on the inside some pastels, some brighter colors, because the outside is looking a little bit darker. and I wanted it to be realistic and resemble some of the Japanese architecture. I did have some inspiration pictures. I made a mood board so I could just look at it and have some references. And that is something that I like doing, searching for references and inspirations on the internet. But I had never done a mood board before, and I liked it, especially for a complex build like this where you need to have, or you want to have, a lot of variation. I think it helped me a lot. Now I go back and forth adjusting a lot of the details. For a build like this, it's so difficult to stick to one thing only, because I'm just scrolling through the catalog and I see, oh, this would look good in this place, this would look good in the bookstore, because I add a bookstore later on. And I think this is when we start adding the restaurant. Yeah, some stairs and then the restaurant, exactly. So I had this idea of making this maybe a 3-level unit or a 3-level building with possibly 2 units. I discarded that idea. I thought it looked weird because the others were just 2 levels. So I kept it simpler, and I thought it looked better in the end. And now we are picking the colors for this building. This is when I started to think about what it was going to look like around it and maybe at the back. I'm adding some more landscape to make it look more realistic or more true to reality. I add those posts all around the lot and some street lamps as well. And again, I do that all around the lot. I think we will be seeing it later. I spent so much time looking through the debug catalog and also the live edit catalogs, because they have so much good stuff and a lot of stuff I just miss on the first glance. So I kept coming back to it. I just left a lot of the footage out. But this is the bookstore that I mentioned earlier. I wanted it to have this like display on the entrance where you could like walk by, browse a little bit of stuff, and then you could go inside. It's almost like an invitation. And I also had this reference picture that had 2 doors, and in the middle it had a bookcase. I wanted to do that initially, but then the spaces aren't really that big, and I thought one entrance was fine as it was. And I ended up adding some greenery here just because it was looking a lot like kind of bare, especially on the upper part. And I think it added a nice touch, brought a little bit of life to that part there. And now we move on to the back, which was also not a struggle, but a challenge. So for the back, I wanted to have a kind of porch that wrapped around all of the units. And I included this fence, which just reminded me a lot of the Japanese shows I watched when I was a kid. They usually had, or the houses in that show usually had, this type of fence. I added some roofing details, so when it rained you could continue to stay in that part, in that porch area, without, worrying about the rain. And here in this back part, I chose to do a garden. And I wanted to do a garden because I expect the spill to have, a lot of people, and there are a lot of things you can do in the spill. So I assume it would be busy. So I thought it was nice to have a space where your Sims could just unwind, relax, read a book, meditate. So I thought a kind of Zen garden would be the perfect thing to add here. And I think it also looks good because it adds a bit of greenery, which there isn't much around. So I thought that was a good addition, a much needed addition. I add in these stones in the sand so your Sims can navigate better. I don't think they use it, but it looks good, so I included that in. I put also a bench there, maybe you can read there. And this is also where I included the trash cans, trash bins. And I have a staircase, some stairs there that lead to the upper part, which is how you access the units. But I changed that in the end. Not in the end, but I end up changing it. Now I'm adding more posters and more decoration. This would be the restaurant. There I am using the tool mod again, just to rotate the poster a little bit and make it seem more realistic by, making it look like someone actually glued it there or put up that poster. I also love these lights. I think they add such a personal touch and they make me think so much about Japan. This was probably one of the most tedious parts of the whole build, just because I thought it would be fun to add wires to these posts, and the world has them, as you can see there. But I wanted to make it more immersive, and that's what I'm doing here. It took me so long because I did it all around the lot, and I actually couldn't find this object in the debug. I had to go to the gallery, and I will include the name of the user who put this wire in the gallery. Thank you. And yeah, as you can see now, it's all around the lot, those wires. I think they look good and they add some personality, make it look a little bit more funky and lived in. Now we're adding some doors and windows to the back of these units. And this is the part that I mentioned earlier, which is when I get rid of those stairs and I actually make these units accessible through the stairs that I put in the front. I don't know why it took me so long to be like, hey, these stairs are here for a reason, so let's use them. And that's what we do. I think it makes more sense and also frees up some space in the back for other activities. This is the flower shop or the plant shop. One of my favorite things in The Sims is decorating with plants, so this was really fun to do. I wanted to make this place seem light and fun, so it has some brighter colors. There is already a lot of clutter outside, and I think it makes it inviting. And I placed some shelves here. These are not going to be the final shelves, but yeah, I just clutter all of them with plants, and I decorate the place around a little bit. I add some more plants in the middle as well, and some kind of tables that they have in The Sims. There you can see there. I add these leaves, which I love. I think they look so good. They add so much personality to the build, and I think they frame really well windows and doors. So I put some in the front and also in the back. And I add this arranging table. I think it looks really good and it makes sense to have one in a place like this. And of course I had to use this table, which I rarely use. And to me this was the right place to do so. And of course I filled everything with plants. I also like this plant lamp a lot. And here I'm swapping the shelves for these ones from I think it's the greenhouse kit. And I add these rugs. I think they are so adorable and they add character. And finally I add these flowers, which are on brand for the space, and I think they add color and some fun without having to paint the walls a different color. This produced section, I actually took off the gallery just because I had already done a lot of intricate details on the outside. I will also leave the username of the person that made them on the description. So thank you, whoever went through all that trouble. And I included it. I think it looks so good. It's exactly the look that I was going for, that local feel. And you know, I just imagine people coming here to shop, to do their groceries, people who live in this lot as well. And I also add those stickers there. I thought they look really fun. And this ATM isn't actually functional, but I thought it was so realistic to have one in a place like this. And I end up cluttering this space a lot. I was inspired by some of these local supermarkets. In Japan, I looked up some references, and they had a lot of stuff, boxes around, and I've been to some Asian markets here as well in my hometown. Not my hometown, but where I currently live. And they have a lot of stuff on the ground where you can just pick, and sometimes you have to do some gymnastics to get around the store, but I think that's also the magic of it. This is the bookshop here. I wanted to have this place that almost looked like a cozy cave. I wanted to go for that feel with the bookshop and also the bar. I wanted it to have this old feel, but with a lot of new stuff. So I imagine the person that works here sells new but also used books. I put those paintings on the wall, which to me they look like a book trilogy or a book series, and I thought it was fun to like have that on display or have that as something that, you know, grabs your attention. Maybe they are bestsellers, I don't know. I like coming up with these stories. I think they make more sense, and I thought it was so clever to do this that I just did there with the stickers as if it was another series. And I thought it would be cool to include also maybe some action figures or some books and movies collectibles. Maybe these are sold because the books were made into movies and people love them. I thought it would be fun to do that. And this is the bar that I mentioned earlier. It's a karaoke bar. I'm not sure if it's functional, it might not be, but it still looks as one. I add the stereo there, I add the karaoke machine later, and I also put the microphone there to make it look realistic. But again, I'm not sure if it works. I would have to play test that. And I wanted to have this, you know, cave-like vibe, and also I added some red hues. And this is the house that I mentioned that is the only full house, the only one that has 2 levels. And I imagine an elder lives here, maybe an elder lady. And I wanted to make it look traditional, but also with some modernized bits and bobs. This is the bedroom, and I tried to add some personality through little details and some objects. In the final tour, we will see how it ends up looking, all of it. But yeah, I included also some knitting, so this elder has some activities to do, and I'm just decorating. And this is one of the units. This one is above the bookstore, if I'm not mistaken, and I imagine maybe a young couple lives here. It's a tight squeeze, all of them are, and I wanted it to have this more juvenile feel. Maybe it's newer, it has been renovated, and also it looks lighter than the one we just saw. So I try to make them all look a little bit different and with different lived-in states. This one I wanted to be modern, more clean, a little bit more minimal, and that's what we go for. I think that's the look I achieved also. Didn't record all of them, and I think it would be better for us to just jump into the game and actually do a tour and see what the final build looks like. So this is what she looks like in all her glory, and this is what it looks like on the side of the bookshop, and this is the back of the build. We can start on this side, on the flower shop. This is the entrance, a lot of clutter. Then we go through the door and you see a lot of plants, just plants all around. I really like these decals on the wall. Now I'm gonna skip this one just because it's a house, and I'm gonna move to the bar. This is what it looks like. I added some beams in the ceiling, even though you can really see that well. And this is the karaoke machine that I added, the bar, and yeah, just a place to have fun and hang out, socialize. This is the grocery shop, and this is what it looks like on the inside. A lot of clutter, a lot of produce, the ATM, and I added some blanks here just because I didn't like the look of the original object. And yeah, just a lot of clutter all around. So this is the restaurant. I actually didn't record anything of it, and I thought I was so clever putting this sticker here above the heater. And yeah, let's go in. When you come in, we have, this is the restaurant. I wanted it to be more like a noodle bar where you just order, sit down, and have a lot of like things that maybe locals and tourists leave. Thought it was cool, and I also like these posters. I think they come with the university pack, and I had never seen these variations before. I think they have that Japanese cartoon style. So I added them in. We have some paintings here. And this I thought would be a good way to display maybe their menu or things that they serve here. But yeah, I also like these dividers. I think they're from Discovery University, and these posters are actually from high school, not university. And over on this side, we have the bookshop. This is the entrance, a lot of books already. And then we go in, we have all the bookshelves, a wall full of those bookshelves, and we have some here on display. Maybe these are the new releases, and this is where you pay. Also added some candles, maybe they are merch candles, you know, maybe. Let's take a look at the garden at the back. You come through here, there's a little gate here, area, and then this is the little garden that we have. We can relax. I think it looks really really cozy. Now let's take a look at the full house that we have. We have the entrance right here, simple. We have a half wall dividing the living space. We have these things that maybe the grandma made for her grandkids when they come visit. Yeah, we have the kitchen. I tried not to clutter it too much. There's the eating area. It's not very big, but it's the biggest one of them all. And we have some clutter here, the washing and dryer. Then we walk down into the bedroom. And this is what it ended up looking like. I added the clock there. I thought it was such a grandma thing to add or to have. And this is the bathroom. I wanted the bathroom to be cluttered, and that's why I put a lot of these here. A lot of the bathroom clutter kit. I also added a robe. And yeah, make it lived in. Make it look like this person lives here for a long time, or has lived here for a long time. Now we can go up the stairs and check out the rest of units. When you walk up, you have here on the left the second unit that we'll see. And I thought this was a very traditional and like family type of thing. They haven't renovated it, or it hasn't been updated. And I imagine parents and a kid live here. We have the bathroom here, which is a 3x1 tight squeeze, but most of these units have this bathroom layout. I wanted to give that personal touch with the towels here. Now we can check the bedrooms, which they are a squeeze for sure, but I still wanted to have the personality. So this is the kids' bedroom. We go out and then we go into the parents' bedroom. It looks like this. Simple, not much clutter. Again, the space isn't very big, but I like how it looked in the end. Now I can move on to the other units. So this apartment, I wanted to be more dark, modern, contemporary. That's why there's a lot of blacks and grays, some dark blues and whites. And I wanted also to have some hints that it was an older building. Here we have another 1x3 bathroom, also all black. Now let's move on to the next apartment. We can check this one out. And this is what it looks like. There's the living, the dining area, the kitchen, has a full-sized bathroom for a change. Also very simple. And then we have the bedroom here, which is a fairly sized bedroom considering the size of some of the units it's built. Let's move on to this one right now. This one is similar to the last one, but I imagine a single sim lives here. It's like modern, has the same vibe. And this is the bedroom, also a small bedroom, but it has everything you need. And then you have a 3x1 bathroom, all with toilet paper. Now let's move on to the sixth and last unit. Now this one, I wanted to make it really pastel, really soft, also contemporary, have a little bit of a different personality. There's a TV there that looks like a painting, love that. We have a eating area here and maybe also working area. And if we move on through this door, we have the bedroom, which has a single bed, a lot of pastel colors, but also quite simple. This one is above the flower shop. And then we have the bedroom. I also wanted to make it special. And yeah, it has a shower, it has this pink tile, it's adorable. This is what the build looks like. This is what it looks like on the upper level. This is what it looks like on the lower level. I forgot to show that it has like a kitchen area on the restaurant. But yeah, I hope you liked this build. If you did, let me know. It is on the gallery. My ID is CatsAgainstCrime. I will leave that also in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.